Welcome to the Metals Investment Forum. It's my pleasure to meet the new CEO of Altaley, Mike Struthers. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, Chen.
So you are coming in to take over the CEO role of Altaley, the company I invested. Unfortunately, it's not doing well. My investment went down a lot. So what do you see? First, maybe you tell us your background, and then what do you see to turn around this company?
Okay, yeah, thanks. Well, I started in the industry 40-something years ago. I started in operations in Zambia in Africa. I then had a spell of 10 years in operations in Australia. I used to work in a sort of special niche area, rock engineering, but I moved gradually into feasibility studies, a lot more engineering studies. I started out as a mining geologist, but then I migrated more and more towards engineering. I had 7 years with Lundin Mining, working in capital projects with them, operations in Portugal and Chile. And at the end of 17, I took the brave leap into the junior sector. I was CEO of a London Junior, CEO of Candelaria Mining, also with projects in Mexico, and I joined Altaley in September.
All right, good. So I personally visited the project in Altaley. Very impressive. Corpo Morado it seems a very good mine. It had a little bit struggle last year, but my understanding this year they start producing more copper. Seems to be in a very good shape.
That's true. Look, obviously when I came in, I spent the last 3 months or so digging into the weeds in the company, understanding where things were really at. Campo Morado didn't have a good year last year, or the first half of the year wasn't good. Basically, they ran, and actually it's a good illustration of what needs to be done at Campo Morado to avoid that in the future. Historically, it's been more reactive than proactive. Campo Morado is one of those projects that's always going to need a slightly higher level of technical management than your average mine, because it's a VMS. It's one of those sites one of those types of deposits where you really have to marry or understand the mineralogy and how that material will behave in the plant. So what happened last year was a good example of what happens when you don't pay full attention to that. So they were operating in a large zinc ore body where they were reaching the end of the ore body, but they migrated into an area with much higher iron content. And that had effects on their recoveries. Performance went down. They recognized what was happening. They shifted over towards a new area, which was copper rich relatively. But then they had to reconfigure or optimize the copper circuit. Anyway, so there's a lot of detail there, but what that told us, and it's a good example of what you don't do with a mine like Campo Morado. You have to, and we've implemented now a program, it's called geometallurgy. So a really intimate linking between mineralogy and our resource end and what happens when you put that material in the plant. So that's a sort of an engineering solution, but it means that in the future, Campo Morado, you need to be a lot more proactive, understand well in advance the material you put into the plant and how it behaves. So, and while we're talking about Campo Morado, also there's a group of engineers, Osenco, there's international consultants that I work with in Lundin Mining in Chile. They know plants really well. I had them into Campo Morado in October. They've given us a really good report that's given me a lot of comfort now about the path forwards for Campo Morado. This report, defines a pathway for how we can progressively improve performance through every part of the flow sheet in the plant. And we're implementing that now. We're actually, the guys there on site, it's well managed, the site, it's well run, and they've embraced this, so they're running with that now. So
excellent.
And I've been through my 3rd iteration of the mine plan with them since I came on board, and so the plan for this year is really robust now. You're right to say we've made a strategic decision to move more towards copper. So in terms of proportions of the concentrates, about 40% will be copper concentrate this year.
Good.
And the balance zinc.
Copper is hitting new high.
Yeah, and we're just now finishing the installation of some additional float banks in the plant. So we're going to be improving our copper concentrate grades by 5%.
Okay, excellent.
That'll come in March. So we're going to, Campo is going to have a strong Q2 and then an even better second half of the year. So Campo's going to have a good year. And that's important for the company for cash generation. So.
Oh, absolutely. I remember in 2021, you have very good cash generation on zinc.
Yeah.
That was
it was fundamentally zinc.
Right. Now you switch to copper, which is even better. Would you foresee the more profitability this year versus 2021, or is hard to compare right now?
I would say there'll be similar years.
Similar years, okay.
One of the things that happened in 21 was it was very good in terms of cash generation. I think we generated $26 million of cash, something like that.
Yeah, more than your market cap.
But you need to channel some of that back into the operation in terms of maintenance and what have you. So since then, there's been a legacy issue there, which we're now managing, which is to progressively refurbish equipment, renting in new equipment, et cetera, so that we've got a more reliable performance in terms of the mine and also in the mill. So.
All right, excellent. I'd like to get to Tornado, but before we finish, how about the improve gold recovery? So that was a big issue last time I visited.
At Campo Morado.
So that's something you're looking at, or
it is.
Tornado is.
No, we've done test work of a variety of technologies. It's been a little bit of a shotgun approach in the sense that there's been a sort of selection of different technologies that just to see how they perform. And we're still doing some test work along those lines, but what's important before we take any of those technologies any further is that we've stabilized the base metal part of the operation.
The cash flow, yes.
Well, cash flow too, but particularly in a technical sense, the engineering of the base metal part of the operation, because otherwise, if the behavior of that is erratic, you don't know how to design anything else that you bolt on to improve your gold or precious metals recoveries in the future. So that's still a goal. What I'd like to do this year is actually do a scoping style study on the variety of technologies we might use. Some of them are more capitally intensive than others. So we've got to look carefully at that and just make the right decision about which one is the right choice for us. So.
Okay, great. Looking forward to hear from that. So how about the Tornado? That was a key failure of ATLY last year.
Yeah.
And how do you turn around that operation?
Well, I can say that it required a lot more discipline in sort of capital projects management. That's really what was lacking. So we've made a few changes already. We've got a new construction manager involved. We're just about to hire a new general manager for the site. But really, I've spent quite a lot of time now with the team there, revisiting budgets, getting more confidence in the budget estimates, revisiting the schedules, so tightening all of that up so that we have a lot of confidence in what it is, what's it going to cost to do it, how long is it going to take, what are all the interdependencies. Which is really just from my project background. I guess that in a simple way, that was something that was lacking.
Oh, good. So you can tell us how far we are from 500 ton per day, and then how to get to 1,000 ton. That's
absolutely the 500 ton. That's about 85% complete now. The two major areas to complete remaining to be done. There's a bit more comminution work to add into the comminution circuit. We need some cyclones and pumps and all those good things. That'll take us from the installed capacity now of about 350 tons a day. That'll take us to the 500.
Oh, okay.
But the other critical element is the tailings dam. And we've changed the tailings dam design slightly. So we've divided it into stages now. The benefit of that is it allows us to place tailings a bit earlier. The downside is the cost has gone up a little, and we're actually working with the tailings engineers right now to finalize all of that, budget and schedule.
Okay.
But that's the other critical element to get to get completed for the 500. So I would say the 500 we're expecting that early Q2 now.
That's a question.
Which is what you were just going to ask me.
Exactly. How much more money do you need to get to 500?
Well, we've got the rights offering out there, right? We announced that a little while ago. We haven't thrown the start switch on that yet. We haven't got a record date yet. And the reason for that really is we're still, as I said, working through those tailings dam numbers so that we know exactly what the quantum is.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be within the quantum of that rights offering. So that rights offering will deliver the 500-ton project.
Excellent. So my understanding, 500 is cash flow positive at this current gold and
it's
silver
cash flow positive at the operating level. It's cash flow positive. Yeah.
So you will have a 2 profitable mine, and hopefully you go to 1,000 will be 2 very profitable mines.
That's the plan. I mean, at Talweto, the PFS was done at 1,000 tons a day. That's where the project should sit. We'll see how the rights offering goes. We've got cash. Campo is going to be generating more cash, so we'll choose the timing of the 1,000-ton. Obviously, we want to get it done as early as we can. That's the goal. So yeah, look, there's some overhead at Talweto that 500 tons a day it doesn't carry, so we need to get the 1,000-ton done. Yeah. But that's what this year is all about. To use your expression, turning it around. We will deliver now on the 500 finally. And I think there'll be a round of applause through the industry that we actually get that done finally.
Okay.
And move on to 1,000. And so this is going to be a big year for us. This is the year that we turn Altaley around.
Okay, great. Thank you. And good luck. As a shareholder, I sincerely wish you turn around this great company, the great operation,
Thanks.
And next time I see you, hopefully we can open up
be celebrating something.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nice to talk to you.